What's going on, guys? It's your boy King J, and today we have another Teach Me episode. This episode is with L.Train from America. He's going to teach us Lars. You won a tournament just a couple days ago, right? An online tournament. Last night. See, there we go. You won a tournament last night with Lars. I've been seeing a couple other guys are winning it with Lars, but you know, you've been holding up with the L.Train for so long. So, you know, we needed to get you on this episode, man. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a Teach Me episode. The Teach Me episode is going to consist of key moves, grabs that Lars have, stances that he has. So obviously he has the dash stance. And then we're going to talk about how to fight against Lars. We're going to do it in sections. And yeah, it will be an easy one. We're not going to talk about combos due to latency and stuff like that. But we're just going to talk about the basic stuff just for people to get started on the character. So yeah, without further ado, we're going to click on it. Can you move?
Yep, I move.
All right, cool. So, yeah, tell me about the key stuff that he has in terms of moves.
Well, a lot of the key stuff for Lars, since he's not really oppressive as far as buttons, you want to use a lot of like pokes and movement, because his oppression comes through movement and poking. Like some key moves that you're definitely going to use with him the most, of course, be jab, down 4-1, back 1, down back 2, or down back 2-1, you're down 4, down 2. Like just a bunch of, as you can see, those are just a bunch of simple, basic pokes, key pokes. And of course, they bought the infamous down 4-2 back, which is, even though it's in full crouch, it's like, I'm glad to have that move back as well, because that also kind of opens up his full crouch game a little bit, because then you got tired shoes, which is a move you'll use as well. That's full crouch and then down 4-1+2. But yeah, the key.
How'd you do it?
When you're in full crouch, it's down 4-1+2, and that's I call it tired shoes.
Yeah, that everyone uses that one.
yeah. It's one of the key moves you're gonna use. Especially if you're at the wall pressuring your opponent, they may try to sidestep, because since you're in full crouch, and if they step, as soon as you input the move, they pretty much can't get away from it. You have to block or low parry, and then it's punishable too. It's like, I think -13, so you kind of want to place it as well too, because it is punishable. But the simple, if I had to put the basic strategy with Lars is poking and movement, and then with those pokes, it'll open up opportunities to land, of course, the bigger stuff like your arc blast, your blue bolts, your up 4-3s, your orbital, because that's the one thing about Lars that still makes him, in my opinion, a pretty viable character, is that he has very good punishment tools. Like one of the few characters in the game with a 14-frame launcher, blue ball. So you have to tread the waters like carefully. Like if you're like fighting Julia, she has a lot of -14 stuff, so Lars can launch her for a lot of things she may try.
You see when you're saying the moves, can you give the notations as well? Because I'm trying to learn this character very quickly.
I'm gonna run down all that, but
do you know what I mean? So yeah. Because you're telling me these moves, and I know I'm gonna watch this back. When I pick up Lars again, I'm gonna watch this back, and I'll be like, yo, he said that move, but I don't know what move that is. You know what I mean? So for sure.
I'm gonna do it in order.
Alright, cool.
But you have Arc Blast, which everybody knows is forward 1+2. Yeah. And that's his 15-frame launcher. So anything, of course, that's -15 or higher, that is one of your options to use. It's pretty reliable. The range isn't as good as it once was in T6 and older releases, but with good spacing, it's still a very viable tool to use for with punishment, and then of course block punishment. But that's forward 1+2. That's your 15-frame launcher. Next,
I see. You know what? Sorry to interrupt you. I see that certain people they do jab, down forward 1, then sidestep, and then wait for them to see if they're gonna do a move like a jab or something like that. Then they do forward 1+2.
Oh yeah.
Is that recommended?
Yeah, that's actually a viable strategy because, like I mentioned earlier, you're with Lars, you're going to be using pokes to open up the opponent
Hmm.
and force a mistake. So if you are using your jabs and then you sidestep and they try to jab, you
Mm.
can get a launch and get a launch punish and of course rack up that damage. But that is a very viable common Lars strategy
Okay, cool.
because his key thing is pokes. You
Hmm.
want the poke to open up the opportunity to land these moves.
Right, right.
So
I'm with you. I'm with you.
it's very key with him. And the next move, of course, I mentioned his 14 frame launcher, which is Blue Bolt, is forward back 2-1.
Hmm.
So it starts off like Brian's jet upper, but you have to hit one afterwards to get the second hit. Now, this
Ah.
move, like I said, it's 14 frame launcher.
Hmm.
So anything negative 14 or higher, you can launch. I really like using this move as far as like with punishment. Is hard though because, like I said, your spacing has to be on point to do that. Because if you stick like people who like to stick out a lot of buttons, like long range, like that move is very good for catching because, as you can see, the range it can reach from you're at about like maybe about like range 2.5, I believe it reaches from.
Mm.
So it's a lengthy launcher. So playing the space game and using it, you can go a long way with doing it. Like, and of course, there's a cool little trick that I have with that said move too. Usually when I land now, move I mentioned before, 4-1+2, which is Arc Blast. If I land that on hit, there's a reset trap, and if you watch Combo Breaker, my match against Dimeback, you'll remember this.
You can try it to me. You can try it to me.
You do that,
Oh,
and
snap.
if you tech wrong, I get a free blue ball or arc blast. So like you try to get up, and then of course I did it a little too slow.
Yeah, it's probably because of latency, like I said before. It's
Yeah.
fine. Oh, like that?
See, yeah,
Like
you
that?
can't.
Yo,
Yeah.
wait. We can't have no more discussion of. We have to talk about that just a minute ago. But what the hell?
Yeah. It's definitely a valuable tool. Like if you're in somebody's head and you do that, they're like, hold on. But yeah, it's when I did that at Combo Breaker, like everybody went crazy. Like I talked to Cuddle after that match, and she said, "I didn't know he could do that." Like, yeah,
I didn't know.
it's-
I'm never.
Yeah.
Yo. So wait 1 second. So like a little bit off topic. A lot of the people say that Lars is like the worst in character. I've asked a lot of the Asian players. They say, Lars is bottom tier. But I have always said I don't think he is. I feel like this character. I just feel like he just requires a lot more work than the usual. Would you agree with this statement?
Yeah, I talk to people about this a lot, and yeah, compared to his past iterations in this game, he definitely takes a bit more work because due to the overall Tekken 7 system changes, he got primarily really nerfed off that.
Mm-hmm.
So like the throw changed, so he no longer has a throw game. And then of course they nerfed some things like the range on up forward 3 got nerfed, the range on arc blast got nerfed, his tracking got toned down. So he is like lower than his previous iterations, but even still, he has a lot of the tools that made him dangerous still. It's just now, I think this version of him, the player has to be like on point. Because in the previous games, you could kind of get away with nonsense because he was like T6 Lars was busted.
Yeah.
Like he up forward 3 was before Akuma's DP existed. It was that move. Like like if you threw out any mid, a low, or a high, that move was crushing it. It didn't matter what you did. Like, if I had to give an example of what Tekken character has that crush capability, is Claudio's hop kick.
Mm-hmm.
That's what up forward 3 used to be. But it's like they gave it to Claudio. But yeah, he's not as strong as he once was, but saying he's the worst in the game, I don't know if I can fully agree with that.
Yeah.
Like, because if you're on point with him, he's still a very dangerous character, or he can be. Like, if you're a player who's strong with your punishment and poke game, you can go away with him. Because people ask me all the time. They say, well, I see you play, and you plays well with him. Like, cause I think before all this stuff went on, the last like master event I went to was Summer Jam, and I got 13th with him, and I used him the entire way, and that was a tough tournament. Like, everybody was there, Chikrin, Low High, everybody. That was a master event, so I think that speaks volumes of what he can do still.
Yeah.
It's just, but I think he needs a little bit of help though, but not over. If we overdo it, it'll be T6 all over again. So it's like,
yeah. There's two questions I would like to ask though. So like, obviously he's forward back 2-1. Obviously the input is quite hard for someone that has to be on point, if you know what I mean. So like, if I'm blocking something and it's like it's minus 14 and it's like, all right, cool, I need to do this 14 frame punish forward back. Obviously it's kind of like, Brian's jet up and stuff like that, but it's like, do you have any issues with it when you're facing against 14 frame punishes, or do you feel like you've just got to that stage now where you're comfortable doing it?
The only move I say, it's probably two moves that are kind of hard, and it's not so much due to the input, but more so the recovery of the said moves. So I and even myself, I got to get back to consistently practicing. But Jack's down forward 2.
Yeah.
And Nina's bad habit move. Those two moves, due to their like recovery, is you kind of have to buffer in the blue ball. Like, as soon as you see it, you need to be buffering, because if you try to do it like immediately, you'll miss.
Yeah.
So it's like, and then you get launch punished because, like I said, it's negative 18 on block. So that's why it's important to place this move. It's not something that you could just recklessly do, because the risk is too big. Because negative 18, that's like the cast can generally launch you in. So you definitely want to practice. I tell players to practice buffering the move, because when you buffer it, you get a higher percentage rate of completing it at that point. But you gotta practice it though. Like, you gotta consistently practice it, because the more you practice it, the more comfortable you'll be doing it. And then it'll be second nature. Like, as soon as you see something that's negative 14, I can just do it. Like,
nah, it makes sense. So if we're talking Keymoves, so I would say he has this move seems to be really good.
Yeah, back one.
Yeah,
it's his homing move. It was terrible in season 1, and that's only because they made it negative 11, so you could jab punish it.
Yeah,
and I don't know why they made that change at first. I'm like, this is supposed to stop people from stepping, so like, why is it jab punishable? And then, as you can see, they changed it back to being safe, which makes all the sense.
Yeah,
the range used to be bigger in past games. Like, the range used to reach to like 2.5, damn near 3 in the older games, but it's still effective. And then, of course, the thing I like that they did do for it, at least, is on counter hit, it knocks down.
Yeah.
And then if you're by the wall, it wall splats. So I'm like, oh, that's a good change. So this move is now like, it's more viable now, because it was terrible in season 1. Like, season 1, I barely used it.
Yeah.
Because it just wasn't worth it.
Yeah. So
but that's one of the key moves you're going to be using. Like I said, it's good to stop people from moving so much. Obviously, sidestepping, or even just to check. And it tail spins if you jump. Nice. If you're in mid-air, it tail spins. So the move has a lot more utility than the previous seasons.
And what about, like, you've got like 1-1-1, which is obviously a counter hit string that you can hit confirm this, right? Can you hit confirm?
Yeah. When you land the counter hit, and that was one of the buffs that he received, which is to me was very. Now you can't overly pressure him like how you used to in the first 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And then also, let me see if we could get by the wall. Now, like you can key charge and then do 1-1-1. The wall splats. And that was a change that they gave. So you can get like a whole combo. So when you're near the wall, that's why this season Lars is a little more scary at the wall, because now that he has that, and that's a 10 frame startup, you can't get too crazy because you could get wall splatted, and like I said, we all know Lars hurts when he puts you on the wall, so it's not worth taking that risk. Now you kind of, in my opinion, you have to block against him when you're up against the wall, because he has that now. So it's a good, that's another good buff, and that'd be a key tool for you using him this season. And I know everybody, and then there's the infamous, the other move for him, the infamous down back four. And this move is very risky due to it being launch vulnerable, like most of Lars lows is. But the good part about it is the range of it. Because like I said, if you block it, you can send him to the sky. So it's like, yeah, you see it's negative 26. It's terrible.
That's a lot.
So, yeah, that's a lot. So, but, you know, of course, on counter hit, you know, you get a launch opportunity. So it's kind of one of those moves where risk and reward is like, yeah, it's a high risk, and most definitely, but if it lands, you get a big reward. Yeah. And one of the other things about that I like about the move is in season 3 with Lars, they made you land closer to him, because in the first 2 seasons when you landed the counter hit back forward, the body was kind of far. So certain combos weren't possible, or certain ones weren't consistent. So when they did that, it was more of a consistency buff. And then of course when he got that move back, now that combo is possible now. So, and that's the most damaging one from that. You would do that, and then of course whatever carry you decide to go with from there. But I like that buff because now the combo routes from down back four and counter hit are more diverse now. Because he can even if you crouch cancel, I probably won't be able to do it here, but if you crouch cancel after landing the counter hit down back four, you can crouch cancel and then do down forward 3, and then you could pick them up, with DE2. When you do this, and then you do that, you can pick them up and get a full combo, which to me, it helped his carry even more. And it's not like his carry wasn't already good, but now it's exceptional. So it's like with that option. But that was a consistency buff. So I definitely like that they made that change, because that was a welcome change. Let's see what else.
So like, if to end it off like with this part, what are the 5 other moves you would say are key moves? Like just to quickly sum it up, so we can move on to the stance changes. What would be the 5 other ones?
Okay, let me see. My mission down forward 1. That's probably gonna be, you're gonna use that move like 80% of the time. Okay. Because it has nice range. It's a key poke of his, and then you could step and use it. You could check movement with this move. So that's gonna be like one of them. The next one I would have to say is down back 2-1. The tracking got lowered from the older versions, but it's still a useful move, and it's kind of one of those moves that you keep your opponent honest, and not bulldog you as much. And then, like I said, it's 16 frame startup, I believe. So if something is negative 16, I mean, you could use that as an option depending on whatever the scenario is. But it's still a useful move. The next move you're going to use a lot is, of course, the infamous up forward, which is orbital, and for obvious reasons. The range it reaches from, that's like 2.7. So this would be one of the moves that you use to whiff punish like long buttons. that's the most you're going to use it for.
I just clocked something. That's minus. Hold on one second. Midi minus. Thank you very much for the raid. Footwork. Thanks for the host as well. I see you as well. It's just that when I do teach me, I don't really like talking as much, so I'll probably talk in the chat a little bit later on. I just noticed. Back to what we were saying. I just noticed that's -9. So does that mean Geese can do Raging Storm to that?
Yes, he can.
Whoa.
He actually can.
Why is his one -9 then? And all like Leroy's, Brian's one. I don't think Brian's one's -9.
No, I think Brian's is a little safer, but I think the reason why Lars is -9 is because his range is like higher than everybody's. Like I said,
because it goes forward, right?
And he can go forward. He can do it in neutral, and he can retreat with it too. So you have like 3 movement options with it when using it. Like if somebody does like say Hell Sweep, you got an option to either jump toward the Mishima player or just jump straight over it. Like jump straight, and it'll still launch too. The only one that doesn't launch is retreating. That just knocks you straight down usually.
Try it. Let me see. Okay, I've never seen the one up back.
You get knocked down. Yeah.
When would you use this then? Against the wall, or would you just use?
I think it's one of those little maneuvers just to escape something. Like it's just to get a quick escape and a knockdown. Because I've used that version just to get away from like a pesky low, but I have to do something kind of quick.
Yeah.
But I still want the knock, because when you get the knockdown, I could then take space back immediately, like, and then get right back in your face. So it's one of them, like say in boxing, when you need to clinch with the boxer real quick and get a breather. Yeah. That's like, I would have to say that's what that is. And then the last move I would say that you may use a bit is down 2 when you're up close, because one, it puts the opponent in crouch, and which means when they're in crouch, they only had an option to either, of course, the infamous dig jab or do a wild standing move. But the thing is, with knowing that, if you do your wild standing move, remember, I have that on deck, so that's a counter hit opportunity you could create with that. And then if they like to down 1 a lot, you can either low parry or sidestep and get an arc blast. So this move is just kind of to set up an opportunity, but it's definitely going to be one of those things that you use regularly, especially when you're up close. Like one sequence you might do it, like jab, step, and do, or down 4-1, and then move and do that. Like it's literally one of those. Like it's a bait tool.
Okay.
If I had to sum it up.
I think that move would be good in tournaments, just to see what your opponent's like. Is your opponent like a masher? Is he a defensive? And you can kind of tell by what they're doing from this. You could if I was to play with this character, I would probably just do this once, see it, they're not pressing buttons, do it again. And if I see that by the second or third time I know they're pressing buttons, I know they're irritated player. So they're a person that gets irritated very easily. So that means I'm able to just do stuff like down 4 and just move, down 4 again, move, and I know they're gonna get irritated. So I know their patience is low. So this is very good move. Like down 2 seems like a very good move. Just see if people are irritated. So I know he has stance, but I wouldn't call it stances, but it's kind of like a stance or
dynamic entry, which is forward 3. It opens up to a few moves, and of course you have DE1, DE1-2, DE2, and DE3. Which is what that move came in this game. That's a Tekken 7 first.
This one,
it's a plus frame kick. He never, like I said, since it's a newer move, a lot of people don't get how to use it yet. But just to be quick with it, the main time that I use that move is on knockdown situations or when you're near the wall, because one thing that I do, and people have seen me do this, is I'll electric sidestep and then do it just to get the plus frames and make you guess. Because most people when they're near the wall, their likelihood to panic is higher. because they don't want to deal with a 50-50 or, you know, like I don't want to put myself in that situation. So when you do this and you space yourself or you look to, and remember you have access to G-clef cannons, so you can counter hit something if they get like a little too antsy on the buttons. Like that's the main time to use that move. Or like I said, if you get a knockdown mid-screen, like one thing I may do, like yeah, let's go back to the center real quick. Like one thing that I do when I like get a combo, because people ask why do I end combos with like stop block wars. They wonder why. Hold on.
It might be hard because of latency, but
yeah. I might have to. There we go. Oh wait, no, did it too fast. People wonder why sometimes I do this and then end it with that, because if you tech and I'm DE, like I move in with DE and you get up, you're gonna wake up into that move, and now you gotta guess what I'm gonna do. And at that point, I could then either hit you with, you know, maybe do that or do orbital or run up and do that. Like, although that move helps open up avenues to mix-ups and launch opportunities, like if you use it in that manner. That's why.
So he has DE for free as well. So this move,
yeah, that's new. That's a buff too. He never had a low out of DE, which kind of didn't make the stance that scary, because you only had to fear mid or high, or mid options and a high option. Yeah. So to kind of open up and flesh out the stance a bit more, they said we got to give him a low. So when he first got that in season 2, and I saw it as a new move, I said, wait, don't tell me they're giving him 4-3 out stance. And when I saw that, I said, wow.
Yeah.
So now this stance is a little scarier. It's definitely a lot more scarier than what it was in the past. And this is the first time he's had a low out of that stance. So now he has all attack levels out of the stance. So you kind of have to, in certain ways and instances, you have to respect it now, because, you know, if you duck and press a button or something, like, you know, that counter hit that launches, that's DE2, and it's always done that, but you get a launch. So you kind of have to tread the waters a little bit with dealing with this stance. And then, of course, everybody that watches me play Lars asks, you know, if you ever seen me play in any match or watch my stream and you see me do this to be able to cancel it over and over, that's pretty much me doing forward 3 and then pressing down and kind of doing like, it's almost similar to wave. Yeah, like you just did it. It's almost similar to wave dash. It definitely takes practice, but when you add that to your game with Lars, it makes DE situations scarier too, because I don't know what you're gonna do. Like if you decide, because with DE2, if you're coming at somebody and they stick out a button, you know, that has a nice window to land a counter hit. And of course, we know when that lands on counter hit, Lars is practically gonna take you to the wall if it's a wall. And then if there's no wall, and I do like the different ender like that of my combo, and then you wake up into that, you get put into that again. So like, that's why I tell people it's not vital to learn that, but if you want to have your game a little more opened up with Lars, fleshed out a little more, I recommend learning that. So, but it's similar to a wave dash. Like I said, it's 4-3 and you hit down to cancel the stance, but you kind of have to do like a dance, like alternate between 4-3 down, 4-3 down, 4-3 down, down. It takes practice, but it helps. It helps make it, and this is the fun factor of playing Lars too. It makes him that much more fun to play with too, because that DE, as we know, covers a lot of space. Like you could be back here and you do one. You see how far forward you came? Yeah. So it's like, and that's also going to be key to landing things like your blue ball. You'll put yourself in range and stick out a button, which is, you know, the 4 back 2-1, or you're up 4-4, or even your arc black 4-1+2. Yeah. So that's why I tell people space control is important with this character, because it's his design. Like he's oppressive through spacing. He doesn't really have any oppressive buttons. Like his most oppressive button that he has on his is his while running 3, which is +8. But the move is very linear, and you can step it and launch him. So you kind of have to place that move. So as opposed to being oppressive with buttons, you have to be oppressive with the spacing in the neutral game, and that's when you're going to see the most success with the character. When you can take full advantage of those factors. And then the other stance he has, as you see, silent entry, which is the ground one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they changed this in this game because now you can manually go, which that was a welcome change for me, because normally in the past to get that stance, you used to have to you used to have to do that transition, which is forward 2-1 and then press forward. You used to have to do down back 2 and then hit forward. You used to have to do forward 1-2 and then forward. So, and that was the only way you could get into that stance. But now that they added the manual part to it, which is all you would do to do that, is you have to do DE first, and then when you do, which is 4-3, and then when you do that, press forward, and he'll go into that stance. So
it's a stance into a stance then, basically.
Yeah, it's a stance into a stance.
Okay. What'd you get out of that then? So what'd you get out of these stuff? Oh, okay. So you get forward 3, 2.
With the DE, canceling, like I taught you, this helps open that up a bit, because now you can do that. So if you're canceling and they because that stance crushes high. So if they're high happy and you do that, the high is gonna miss, and then you can respond with the various moves that you have out of that stance, which is this is SE2, and the changes they made to that faster startup than the past games. It used to be a bit slower. The only changes I would say is that it does not knock down like how it used to in the other games, unless it's counter hit. In the older games, it used to knock down by on counter hit, it knocks you down. In older games, it knocked down by, but that was the change to it. But in the older games, it was launch. I believe it was launch punishable if you blocked it, or it was worse on block than what it was now, but the reward was different. But now it's like -13, I believe. So that's a cool little change. And then the other thing is the combo finisher that you always see, SE1, which is that. Now it's -10 on block, but so you can't just do it. It's primarily a combo finisher, and also the buff that they gave it is a wall bounce.
Oh, let me see.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So that's his wall bounce. Yeah. Also, I neglected to mention, but DE3, which is this, that's also a wall bounce.
That was viral information. I didn't even. It looked like a wall bounce move. It just looked like a move that looks like it's got so much power that's gonna push you back off the wall.
Yeah. So, but SE, that's your wall bounce. And of course, with that being wall bounce, there are fun combo opportunities with it. So like walk forward. So say you get it, then you could do, and then then of course down 2-1 into shoulder, and that's a pretty damaging combo too. So it's one of the moves where utility, like I said, if you know how to utilize it, which is primarily for combos, but sometimes you can surprise your opponent and just do it and then get the wall bounce. Because again, they do have to technically guess with, since you have various options in this stance. And then the next move I would have to say is SE3, which is his launching kick. And it's a mid, so you can't duck it. It is -13 on block, and the primary times when I use it, because with Lars, in order for that stuff to really work, you kind of have to have your opponent conditioned to an extent, because like I said, a lot of his stuff is pretty unsafe out of this stance. Like, it's pretty punishable, except for the final move I'm gonna talk about after this. But That move is your launcher pretty much, mid launcher. That's what that is. So you could like, one thing I may do sometimes now from while standing. He does have while standing too, and from that move, if you hit down, you can transition to DE and then press forward, and then you can go into SE, and that allows for certain mix-up situations. Yeah, like something like that. Like if you have your opponent at the wall and you do that, like let's say they're button happy.
Yeah.
And you can also transition. But a tactic that I use, if I have you at the wall and you do not like the pressure that I'm bringing to you, I'll do this, or I do while standing too, and then you see how far back I am. Now I can either wait for you to do anything, like if you get brash and try to stick out a button. Remember, if you don't do nothing, you'll just be back there, and he'll go back into his default stance. And if they whiff anything within this range, all of your tools can catch them. So your arc blast can catch them, your orbital can catch them, and even, of course, blue ball can catch them. So think of that antic as like a bait, a spacing, if you will, if you have your opponent stuck at the wall. And then the final move out of SE, which is a new move, of course, Lars is backlash.
That used to be -10, right?
Yeah, it used to be punishable. Now it's safe, and it's a homing move too, so you can't sidestep.
Any counter hit properties? Like, does it swing you or anything like that?
No, like Horong's backlash, it launches by default. If anything, on counter hit, it just does more damage. But it launches by default, so you don't have to worry about getting the counter.
Nice.
It's going to launch. Yeah. So,
did it do that? Did it do that in the first part of season 3? Cause I can't remember it launching at the start. Did it?
Yeah. It always launched by default. It's just the changes that they made to it was they gave it the homing ability, because you used to step it when it came out. But they added the homing property, and they made it safe on fire. So now you have to duck it in order to really, because you can't side.
This move is sick. I mean,
I actually like it. Like, people say it's not that useful. I didn't actually hit quite a few bit of people with it at this point, especially with the fact that you can't step it. No, and again, it's a pretty damaging move. Like I said, it's on the first hit, it does like 27, and then because like one thing I could do, like come back to right here. Like one thing I'll do is like and don't block. Like when I land it, and then because you got his carry, you can still get him to the wall and still get your wall count. So there's value in this move, and the fact is, since he has that, you kind of have to, again, in some instances, respect this stance, because if you overextend and do like a big move, and I do that, because his armor on this move is about as good as Horang is, as far as the armor case. Because you have to beat it, like any other armor move. You beat it with a low grab, but just throwing buttons at it, he's gonna eat the hits and you get launched anyway, like how Horang's backlash works, where you'll try to throw a bunch of hits and he just eats them and launches.
Yeah.
So it's the armor capability of it is very good. It's very good, in my opinion.
All right, cool.
And that pretty much covers his stance.
Nice one, man. So he has a couple throws. So if you can run me through the throws, and if he gets any Oki setups or any mix-ups after the throws, I'd appreciate it, man.
His throws. Let's see. The only one you could get an opportunity off of was his default one grab, and then like, of course, you could get like, see, one thing that I do, I usually wait to see. This is very good. Like, if somebody likes to whack buttons when they wake up, on counter hit, Like I may duck and then like do down forward 2. But it depends on it's kind of dependent on what your does. Because since Oki in this game in general has been nerfed compared to like the past titles, and you have so many ways to get up, it's one of them wait and see situations. But that's really the only grab that he gets like Oki from for real is that one. And other than that, like he has this command grab, it knocks you far away. One buff I would like for them to give that grab is allow you to combo from it. So if I get the splat and then I can combo, I would really love that as a buff for him. So Arada, if you're watching this, or Michael Murray, if you're watching it, that would be a welcome buff. But
doesn't he have the this one? Does this wall splat as well?
Yeah, he does have that, but again, that move, because I believe that grab can be broken, I think, in 2 ways. I think it can be broken in either hitting 1+2 or just 2, which it makes absolutely.
That don't wall splat. Oh
no, it doesn't.
My yo!
I just thought about that. Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah. The only what you're probably thinking of. You're probably thinking of the air grab. The air grab wall splats. That wall splats, but Stonehead does not wall splat. No.
That is really bad. I actually thought. Yeah. So this is never wall splat. So in like the old games like Tag 2 and that, never wall splat.
Nope.
Oh, there might be the air grab there.
Not his at least. His did. On the Mishimas, like Hayachi's and all them, if you were about to fall, it will wall splat. But his no. And I think that's because he has the air grab. Now the air grab wall splats, but he didn't get that till Tag 2 because in Tekken 6 his wall grab didn't even splat. But in Tag 2 they added that, and that's why you can see those combos that are now. But yeah, that's why I said that this, his up forward 1+2, that being a wall splat, that'd be a welcome buff because now you kind of have to be a little bit more scared of his command grab if you're near a wall. So that'd be a welcome. I would like that.
He also has the thing as well. What's that thing where he could jump? Wait a second. I can't even remember how to do that jump grab. What's the jump?
The up forward 3+4.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that grab is kind of useless simply because you can press down to break it. So if they made it like Akuma's Demon Flip, I would use it more where you can't break it.
But you got a duck.
Really,
like that.
Yeah, see, you know what I'm saying? So there's really no point. There's really no point in using this grab. It's really one of those things to just catch your opponent like completely off guard because you're not really going to land it over and over, especially if you're fighting somebody that knows how to break it. You're wasting your time like doing that.
To be fair, I think that would be a good buff to have because then that way you're kind of scared of the orbital, but then you don't want to duck because this throw is yeah, it makes sense. But then why does Akuma have it and he don't have it?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's like it doesn't make sense. I think if he were to get that as a buff, it definitely would help open up like him be a little scarier because then you like, okay, orbital isn't the only thing I got to worry about. Now I have to worry about the grabs. So it's really, that's what I'm saying. Like certain changes, if he got little changes, would make him that. Like, of course, but I know they don't want to over buff him because then it'd be Lars T6 all over again, and then you jump online and you're gonna fight like a million again.
But would you rather million losses or would you rather 2Ds or Akuma? That's the other question. Remember, Lars is a Tekken character, so.
I mean, yes, that's the thing. Like, I would be happy because it's a Tekken character, as opposed to a B character. That's just a little bit of Tekken bias.
All right, so we've gone through the stances, we've gone through his moves, his key moves, we've gone through the throws. One question I would like to ask, obviously just for people that struggle to fight against Lars out there, this is basically for intermediates to advanced players. For people that struggle with Lars, what would you say is the best way to fight against Lars? So what would you say is one of Lars' weaknesses?
One of Lars' weaknesses is if you take away the space control, beat him in neutral. And like one character that can give him problems, but it's more so again player dependent, is Marduk, and that's because some of Marduk's tools in neutral, you know, they rival even in ways better than his. Like case in point, Marduk's down back 2 move. That's like a good move, or his forward 3. You know, these are good moves to like take control of space and get, you know, and take that away from him. And then again, you got to block Lars lows because his lows are terrible. Like, and every one of them is launch punishable. So you have to keep that in mind, that you don't have a great reason to duck against Lars, but if you are fighting him and you see him go for lows, duck, because the payoff on blocking them and launching him is like huge. So, because I see most people be eating like, and I understand like down back 4, it has a lot of range, but again, cause it hits from like, you see, I'm standing at like 2.6 and it hits you. So if you're fighting a Lars and they're standing right here, you have to keep in mind some of the moves that he has access to. Like he does have access, but you can beat that by to the right and it'll completely miss, and then you can launch punish him. And then from here, like I said, you could block that and you still get the launch because it's negative 26. So really, if you can kind of limit the space control that he has over, like you'll definitely have an easier time fighting him. Because if you give him the space that he needs, you're gonna get irritated because you'll have because you got to deal with, like, see how far that reaches. Like if you take that away from him, like, and of course sidestep him to the right, is what, like, he is very weak right side, like very. So, like, if you could sidestep, see what I'm saying? Yeah. You got right around him. So, sidestep right is a big thing against him. Yeah. I'm not saying it's gonna automatically fight, but you have to keep that in mind when you're fighting the character, that you can step him to the right and really put him in a bad situation. Like, so those are just some key little when you're fighting.
All right, cool. So there's like probably like 2 or 3 moves that I just want to talk about before we wrap this up. There's back 2-1 that I think is pretty cool. You might say differently because I know on counter hit.
I actually agree with you. For starters, the utility of this move is of course also better to see. As you can see, you can. And also the buff that they gave it on counter hit, the second hit can lead to a launch.
Oh, the second hit, yeah. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, and then you can get that pickup, but you have to do it like immediately. Oh, I meant to hit 2. Oops, wait, might be the latency, but see, then you get that pickup. So that move is useful, and again, you can delay it, you can confirm it, so there's use.
And then there's down 1+2, but you didn't really say anything about it. I don't know, is it because the move can be considered slow because of the sound cue?
Yeah, it's very slow and it's launch punishable. So that's one of them. That move right there, that's something you use. I only use it when I'm like really in the opponent's head, like really bad, or if I'm like poking them to death and then they're getting very hesitant and they just keep backdashing and they not really watching their legs, then I go. But just doing it is like terrible because you can launch them like free.
Yeah. So you have to do it within something. I understand. What's the other move? There's another move that I was thinking about. This one.
Oh, 4-4-3?
Yeah.
Yeah, that move it's a linear move, but it's good to also for a little bit of space control. Like one thing I use the DE cancel this, and then I fully cancel. Watch and see how you respond to it, because it does have a little bit of pushback on it. So it's something to keep in mind when you're advancing the opponent. And with that little bit of pushback, again, that gives him space. And if you overextend with the button, you can get whiff punished. So, and that's forward 4. I would use that move sometimes. Again, pushback, and that's kind of Lars's way. The moves with pushback to allow him to take control of the space. So like forward 3, forward 4. What else? I think he has another. Oh yeah, and of course D plus on block. So moves that allow him to do that counter. I think that's a lot of people's favorite move to see from Lars, but they like the counter hit version because of the choke. So and it does.
It's a lot of damage, though. Yeah.
Yeah, it does a lot of damage. It does 50. So you don't want to, you eat 2 of those. That's 100 that quick.
Yeah.
And, health bars is only like what 170, 174, something like that. So getting hit by 2 of those is very detrimental.
For sure.
And it has pushback too on block. That's the other move I was trying to think that pushes back. So back 4. It's -8, but it has a little pushback. But as you can see, in between the 2 characters, it created a little space. So again, going back to Lars' archetype as a character, is that it gives space, which allows him to take advantage of his other various tools that we went over already earlier in the episode.
Yeah.
So,
all right, man.
That's something just to keep in mind while playing.
For sure. All right. Well, that's been Teach Me episode with Lars, with L.Train. Thank you very much for coming on the show, man. I really, really appreciate it. Obviously, we've seen each other in tournaments and stuff like that.
Of course,
and
man.
I said to myself, I was thinking of names to choose, and I was just like, you know what? I really want to go with you. I want you to do it. Probably because I've just seen that you put in a lot of graft with the game for quite a while now, and it just needed someone that has been putting in the graft, someone that's been actually going to tournaments. And with Lars, I always think you're the person for that character. So I'm happy you giving me some of your time to at least come on the show and just give me some knowledge on the character. Can you give everyone else the social medias, like where they can find you and stuff like that? Twitch, Twitter, if you're on YouTube and stuff like that, so they can follow you.
If you want to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter at L.Train _313. It's pretty much the area code.
Okay.
Just to make me easy to find.
So what is that? 'Cause I've seen a couple guys with the 313, and then I don't know fully about it.
That's just the Detroit area code.
Okay.
When you call our phones, you would start the number off with 313. So that just lets you know that we're from Detroit.
Okay. Yeah. I respect it. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. And but that's my Twitter at L.Train _. My Twitch is www.twitch.tv/L.Train Locomotive. I do stream weeknights at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, and I normally do. My last stream I streamed Streets of Rage. I'm probably going to do that again. But I regularly stream weeknights. I stream on the weekends too, but weekends are kind of like whenever I decide to, or if I have time, or if I'm not doing nothing. But yeah, you can follow me there, www.twitch.tv/L.Train Locomotive. And I also have my YouTube, which is L.Train's Fighting Dojo. I usually archive, like a lot of the archives, the export. Like I do have my podcast that I do, a Train of Thought, and that's every other Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern on my Twitch channel, and I send the archives to my YouTube page as well. So if you do want to catch up on podcasts, you can go to my YouTube and look into that because it's pretty much a fighting game podcast. We go over concepts, kind of like how you do with the Teach Me episodes. We go over concepts in fighting games. Like the last episode I actually did last Saturday was talking about punishment. The name of the episode was Putting You on Punishment. And, you know, I usually try to have clever little titles or whatever just to make it fun and get to talk with the people and supporters and get their thoughts on games and share concepts and share knowledge. I've really been having a blast since I started it. And it's just another way to create content, too, because, you know, that's important. And I know you understand that as well, being a fellow content creator and player and whatnot, that, you know, the content is important. Especially if it's informative, it helps.
I definitely think in this time, especially if, like, you know, we're in this crazy time where everyone's in lockdown and we're all at home and stuff.
Oh yeah.
I feel like content from everyone, from everyone is needed, and that's one of the reasons. It's weird because I'd done this before that whole virus stuff was coming around, and I was like, hey, look, I want to get some of the players, especially the content creators, if they're more so on the content creation but they're really good at the game, I really want to get them on board because I feel like it's a good time for people to see different people. Like, obviously I know people come to watch me, but at the same time it's like I want people to see other people, and I want to see how, you know, how I talk with other people and how we can all learn together. Do you see what I'm saying? And that was the whole reason behind Teach Me. So yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm glad you started this because, you know, it gives insight to characters and players too at the same time.
That's what I'm saying.
I learned various things about characters from watching these, so it's definitely valuable content, and I definitely recommend that y'all support this man on these episodes and tune into these episodes because they're very informative and can definitely help up your knowledge in the game if you're trying to progress personally as a player.
Appreciate it, man. Bro, thank you very much for your time, man. And yeah, that is it, guys. Take it easy, everyone. Peace.
Yep. Peace.